You ever been handed a responsibility that's just so huge, so out of nowhere, that you feel completely and totally unprepared? It's that sinking feeling, right? Like being thrown into the deep end, and you don't even know how to swim. Well, today, we're diving right into that exact moment and what comes after through a really powerful story about navigating that kind of insane pressure and finding an opportunity where it feels like there's only overwhelm. This is how our guy, Julian, described his inheritance. I mean, think about that. It's not a winning lottery ticket, it's a disaster waiting to go off. This one line just perfectly captures the panic and the sheer weight of a legacy he never asked for and, definitely wasn't sure he wanted. And this is where it all kicks off. This is the moment everything changes, where a totally ordinary life gets flipped upside down by this extraordinary and honestly completely overwhelming new reality. Just imagine that shift for a second. One day, who you are is defined by your little quirks. You love old movies, you hate cilantro, simple stuff. The very next day, boom, all of that is just swallowed whole by this new title, heir. Julian was suddenly stuck with this ludicrous fortune and the legacy of a father who, funnily enough, barely went into the office himself. His whole personal identity was just gone, replaced by an empire. And you gotta understand, this was so much more than just money. It was like a tidal wave of expectations just crashing in from every possible direction. This wasn't some private family matter. It became a public spectacle with thousands of people watching his every single move. Let's really break this down because the pressure was, wow, it was immense. First, you've got the mind-boggling scale of the business itself. Then there's the human element. Thousands of employees, their families, all depending on his decisions for their livelihoods. Add to that a whole cast of family members who all have their own opinions, and top it all off with the suffocating weight of a legacy he had no part in building. He was basically given a destination, but zero map to get there. And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? All of that pressure, all those lives, all of that history, it all came down on the shoulders of just one person. This visual, it just hammers home the incredible isolation Julian must have been feeling in that moment. So this isn't just about business strategy or quarterly reports. It's about real, tangible impact. Every choice he made, every memo he signed, was going to send ripples through countless lives. That's the gravity of the role he was thrown into, the heavy understanding that his actions had consequences that went way, way beyond a balance sheet. So with all this pressure building up from the outside, it's really no surprise that the biggest battle was actually the one happening inside Julian's own head. This was a fight for his very sense of who he was. And this is the central question, right? When the whole world is telling you who you should be, how in the world do you hold on to who you are? What does Julian, the man, not the heir, what does he truly want for his own life? This just lays it all out so perfectly. On one side, you've got the heir, a public figure defined by an empire, by legacy, by these crushing expectations. And on the other side, just Julian, a guy who wants to be anonymous, who loves old movies, and just wants to be another face in the crowd. The difference couldn't be more clear. But here's the thing. This massive buildup of pressure, it doesn't break him. Instead, it pushes him towards this huge revelation. This right here is the turning point, where the whole story really changes direction. And there it is, right in the middle of all the chaos and the self-doubt, a different thought starts to bubble up. It's not a shout, it's just this low and insistent voice. And it's the very first time Julian starts to see his situation not as a curse, but as something else entirely. This is the whole game changer right here. It's all about reframing. On the left, you see the burden, a weight, a club, something you just have to endure. But then look at the right, it's completely transformed. The weapon becomes a torch to light the way. The weight becomes a chance to do some real good. And the role you have to endure becomes a legacy you can actively reshape. That live grenade starts to look like a tool for positive change. So this new perspective, it's everything. It let Julian stop trying to be the leader he thought he should be and start becoming the leader he actually could be. And this leader's strength came from humility, not from arrogance. I mean, this is such a powerful realization. For Julian, real leadership wasn't about pretending to be perfect or to know everything. It was actually the exact opposite. It all started with him acknowledging his own limits and having the guts to say, you know what, I don't know, but I'm ready to learn. And here it is, his new actionable approach. This isn't some vague theory. It's a practical 4-step guide. Ask, listen, admit, and learn. Honestly, This is a framework that anyone can use when they're feeling unprepared or totally overwhelmed by a new role. At the end of the day, Julian's journey gives us this incredible lesson that goes way beyond a corporate empire. It really speaks to every single one of us who has ever felt buried by the expectations of others, whether that's from family or work or just society. And this is the core takeaway. It's a direct, empowering message. You have to separate your identity from the roles and labels other people put on you. You have the power to decide who you are outside of any box someone else tries to put you in. And here's Julian's conclusion. Not as an heir, but as a leader who actually found his own way. It's not about one big, grand gesture. It's about all the small choices we make day in and day out. Defining your own path is a constant personal journey. So that brings us to the final question, the one that turns this whole story into a mirror. This isn't just about Julian's legacy anymore. It's about yours. Faced with your own unique set of expectations and responsibilities, what mark are you choosing to leave on the world? What legacy are you building? One decision at a time.